Hi. I guess this serves as both my reaction and my thoughts on this week's episode of The Flash. I thought it was crazy. I just finished watching it. I didn't think the speed bazooka was gonna work, but I did think that Iris. I didn't think they would show Iris dying in this episode necessarily. That doesn't mean I didn't think Iris was gonna die. It just means that I didn't think they would show it. I thought maybe the episode would end. Cisco is fighting uh, Killer Frost, and maybe we have the shot of Barry, of time slowing down, and Barry running at Savitar. I thought maybe that's where we would end, but no, we got to see the whole thing with Joe's reaction and Barry's reaction, as well as Tracy's reaction to the bazooka not working. I thought it all worked brilliantly. I'm curious to see where it goes necessarily. I was also pleasantly surprised with how Iris's video turned out when I saw that they were doing that. I thought, well, my initial thought was that Iris is going to die so that they can work in this video somehow. I didn't think that there was a way for them to do it necessarily for them to do that video bit without Iris dying. Um, so I thought the ending worked really well. I am still curious to see where it picks up from. But let's get to some of the ramifications this could have. Obviously, we have to consider that um, with the Flash, nothing that happens is necessarily stable. So this could change in the season finale, or it could change at the end of the season finale, heading into season 4. That could be the big season 4 plot line if Barry decides to run back again and change something he shouldn't, uh, like his mom dying. Ugh, 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 ugh. Maybe he won't. Maybe this is the end of Iris's run on the show, which I highly doubt, because she's kind of a main focus in all Flash material, comics and others. Um, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get an alternate version of Iris from another Earth. That might work. I don't see that happening either, but maybe. I'm very curious to see how all this goes. On I guess a different tone. I thought the Captain Cold line, not line, but like just that whole arc in the episode worked nicely. I thought it made great filler time to get all of the important moments. It made good filler time so that we could get all the important moments of the episode while still having sort of like villain of the week type story going on. Um, I thought it was good. I thought it wasn't too. I was a little worried that having King Shark come back again might be a little too cheesy. I thought he was a little cheesy last time, but I thought they did it well. Um, I think that obviously the key moments of this episode were uh, Wally, Joe, and Harry fighting Savitar on Earth 2, HR giving away where Iris was on Earth 2, obviously the entire ending, both on Cisco and Killer Frost's end, as well as Barry and Savitar's end. Um, I also think that we're gonna get. I think next episode in the finale, we're gonna get something very heavily HR related. I think HR might end up being sort of like the Eddie Thawne of this season. Not necessarily that HR is going to die, but that he actually makes the big heroic move that saves the day, sort of like Eddie did in season 1. I think they alluded to that as when Cisco leaves the room as they're talking, and Harry and HR is getting all his hat and his jacket on. He looks down at the piece of Savitar's armor that Barry had previously removed from it, and I think that is trying to allude to the fact that HR is going to try something or do something, which could be very interesting. Um, Going over to Cisco and Killer Frost, I am curious to see how they're going to do that. If uh, because theor- theoretically, this is the fight where Cisco loses his hands. We don't actually know. We don't know if that's a separate fight, but it looks like very similar environment to where we see that scene uh, in the episode The Once and Future Flash. So this could we could end up with Cisco losing his hands here. I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they would kill Iris and have Cisco lose his hands in such a short span of time. I think there's not that's too much that's too much. So I'm curious to see how that ends up. Maybe Cisco ends up beating Killer Frost, and we get to see more of them trying to bring Caitlyn out. But I don't know how much time they're gonna have to focus on that, since obviously a huge part of next week's episode and the finale is gonna be how they stop Savitar and how they deal, I assume, in the early part of the episode with the grieving of specifically Barry, Joe, and Wally. Uh, most specifically Joe. I'm curious to see how he handles it. Obviously, it's not well in the last couple minutes of this episode, and Wally is obviously devastated that he wasn't able to stop Savitar on Earth 2. So his grieving process might also be interesting, and it might, if Iris stays dead, carry over to season 4, which would be interesting. I think if they can carry Iris's death over to season 4 without doing some flash magic to bring her back, that carrying the grieving process over at the beginning of season 4 would work very well, and I think it would give him a good story arc to start the season. I do think eventually Iris will be back. I just think it'll be better if they wait until next season. Also, the way that they did this, the speed bazooka was very good. Obviously, it was pretty typical special effects for the Flash. The way it looked on Savitar was good, and I wasn't surprised that it didn't work. I thought they pretty much made it clear that it wasn't going to work, and now Tracy's all depressed because it didn't work. HR is all depressed because he gave away where Iris was, and now that relationship might get tension, or maybe they'll help fix each other. I honestly don't know. I don't know what's going on with the whole HR storyline this season, but I do think it would work well if HR ends up being the big hero. Other than that, overall, like, review, I thought the episode was great. It would have probably made a great season finale if the Flash was into doing like big 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 cliffhangers like that at the end of the season, but they never really do that. Like, they at the end of season 1, Reverse Flash is defeated, but they get the Singularity. That's a new threat. They defeat the main threat of the season. Zoom is defeated season finale of season 2, but Barry goes back in time and creates Flashpoint. New problem, but the old problem is solved. So I don't think that we're gonna finish. I don't think we're gonna finish this season without resolving Savitar and then starting a new issue. Maybe the issue is just that Iris is dead and the grieving process. I don't know. But anyway, I guess that's my whole review reaction. This is quite literally my candid reaction. I watched the episode a couple minutes ago. I'm going to try and get this up as fast as possible for you guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.